Greetings, folks. Jonathan Haddis Edwards here with Heartwood Health. This video is in response to a question that somebody sent me around self-care practices and principles in traditional East Asian medicine. So a lot that could be said. I'll touch on a few things, and I just want to preface it by saying, I don't claim to speak for the whole tradition or the whole mosaic of many traditions that is East Asian medicine. Many lineages, many practices, many points of view, many points of controversy, I'm sure. So this is just what I've gathered and gleaned and believed to be helpful from my own experience. So starting with the ever popular topic of exercise, right? Juxtapose the Western ideal of more is better, push hard, sweat a lot, with the more Taoist influenced, Chinese and also East Asian in general ideal of exercise maybe harder, maybe less hard, it may be external or maybe more internal. And even when it's external, it's usually going to end with gathering the qi back to the center, the way that Qigong or Tai Chi does. You can think about exercise usually following a wave, following the cycle of the elements. It starts with warm-ups and it builds up in intensity, and however high and intense it goes, it's going to have just as long on the other side of that to cool back down and gather and store. So just blasting all of our chi out and then just quitting right at the end, that kind of leaves us in a state of being scattered in a sense. We want to take care to cool down as well as warm up and gather the chi at the end, and not to assume that more is better. Less can be more when it comes to exercise, and subtle can be as useful as gross. It can be difficult for us as Westerners to get out of kind of a materialist, linear mindset around if some is good, more is better, but it's really not the case. And look how many people are injuring themselves with excess exercise. So being mindful about that. Second thing, and this relates, is regarding the seasons, right? Exercise is going to be different in the summer and in the winter, and so is everything else we do. And this has been second nature to humans throughout history, but it's easy to lose track of it in a world where we have electric lights all the time and we have the same foods available. It's easy to lose the seasonality. Maybe there's a pumpkin on the porch in October, but otherwise we're going about our business the same way. And the Neijing is really clear about this. It has seasonal guidance for each of the seasons. Like I love the spring guidance. I'll read this quote from the Neijing. It says, "The 3 months of spring, they denote effusion and spreading. Heaven and earth together generate life. The myriad beings flourish. Go to rest late at night and rise early. Move through the courtyard with long strides. Dishevel the hair and relax the physical appearance, thereby causing the mind to orient itself on life. Give life and do not kill. Give and do not take. Reward and do not punish. This is correspondence with the qi of spring, and it is the way to nourish life. Opposing it harms the liver." Right, so that might sound like generic advice, but it's actually specific advice for the spring season when the wood element is in effect, when all of nature is coming back to life and there's a youthfulness and a gentleness. There's a need to go with that sense of ease, right? Moving through the courtyard with long strides, dishevel the hair, and relax the physical appearance. Right now I'm recording this in September as we're moving towards fall, and the fall advice from the Neijing is very different, right? So here's the autumn passage, or part of it. It says, "Go to rest early and rise early. Get up together with the chicken. Let the mind be peaceful and tranquil so as to temper the punishment carried out in autumn. Collect the spirit qi and cause the autumn qi to be balanced. Do not direct your mind to the outside. This is correspondence with the qi of autumn, and it is the way to nourish gathering." Right, so the fall, traditionally the season of executions and punishments in ancient China. So it says, let the mind be peaceful and tranquil to counterbalance that. There's a harshness to the season, and it's saying, let there be peacefulness and inwardness. There's a sense of wanting to focus on the gathering. This is the way to nourish gathering, right? That's what the nature is doing. Everything is being gathered before the energy stores back down into the earth for the winter season. So we're nourishing the gathering of autumn. My sense too is that it's a time for putting everything in order, right? Being really neat and everything in its place. There's a discipline that goes with the season that we want to be in harmony with. So it's not the time to dishevel the hair. I could probably use a little work. Yeah, third thing we can touch on is food. And of course, food's a huge topic. And eating seasonally is once again kind of becoming known as a important thing to do after being ignored in the West for decades. Um, so what to say about that? I guess I don't want to talk about specifics of food. That's a whole rabbit hole for us. But just to say that food is something that um, our systems do best with when we're eating in good company, right? When there's a convivial sense and we can look each other in the eye and laugh and really take in the chi and absorb it. So there's something to be said for eating not just good stuff and seasonal stuff, but eating it in good company and with some laughter in the mix, ideally. That's sending all the right signals to our body that it's safe, that life is good, and we can really receive the chi and nourish ourselves. And that goes along with an evening that has some leisure to it. You know, overwork is definitely not the Taoist ideal. The Protestant work ethic is not a Taoist work ethic, right? Again, more is not better here. And if after dinner you're immediately going back to work and typing a ton on the computer and thinking really hard, then you're going contrary to the flow, which wants to, again, you know, the evening is like the autumn of the day. So the energy is gathering and storing, and we want to let ourselves be peaceful and inward and let ourselves move towards feeling as opposed to thinking and striving and doing. So not overworking. Yeah, I think the last thing that I'll touch on here is, you know, the value of self-cultivation practices. This is widespread throughout East Asian traditions, whether you're a Buddhist or, you know, traditional Confucian or a Taoist. All these traditions have practices that they espouse and that they transmit, forms of meditation or Neigong, Taoyin practices that are working with the meridians. There's a million and one, but the point is to do something, even if it's just a few minutes every day, to cultivate the mind and the spirit and be present, and kind of deepen our roots and build capacity for everything else that we're doing, and find an oasis that's restorative and that puts us back in touch with what's important and what's true. And it's easy to let that go in a busy life, and the times when we feel like we don't have time for it are often the times when we need it most. So just a reminder that even 2 minutes, which can easily turn into 10 minutes, you know, it's just to do a little something each day for yourself in that way it's not goal-oriented, it's not out of any sense other than let's do this for its own sake and be present. Let me be present with myself and give myself the gift of this time each day. So thanks for watching. Again, Jonathan Haddis Edwards with Heartward Health.